Recently, from Taiwan, my translator, who painted gold to Pema Sambhava here some years ago. Translator for many years in Taiwan. Sometimes she writes that her brother has a clinic, but what do you call it? There's a group of people who give trouble to take money and to give trouble. I forgot the name. Scam. Gam. What? Scam. No, it was called not scam. Mafia. Mafia. He has paid a lot of money. I don't know whether they should come to get money or threaten. Sometimes write to me then what's the best puja to do or what best prayer to them to not get killed, her brother to not get killed, and so many sometimes she writes, and yes, good one. They come again, they ask for different things. And the recent one is they have to sell they have to give away their house or to clinic. And, sort of some little days, many problems. So always she's worried. So I was telling her recently, I mean, this is not only her, this world is full of this, Even ourselves have gone through that, and some of us, we are having the same experience as possible. So anyway, I told her, this is nothing new. This very old one, there's nothing new. We have gone through this from beginningless rebirth. These problems, your problem, your brother's problem, your family problem, this and that. As I told her, there's nothing. There are other people in the world, double, triple, 100,000 more problems than you. Your family. In the world, there are people who have double, triple, 100,000 unbelievable problems. But you see, we are just talking. You have to understand. We are just talking only this life problem. Only this life, only a few years, few months, few weeks. Only that problem, only this life. We're not talking about problems. We're worried about past life problems for past life. Do puja for the past life problems. So do puja for the past life problems. Puja from beginningless rebirth. There was a problem. And we never think that. Like myself, we don't think that at all. And even though you intellectually accept after becoming Buddhist, but really don't. So. The reality from beginningless rebirth, gone through these problems. Numberless times. Then, not only that, again, if you don't practice Dharma in this life, don't learn Dharma. In order to practice, you have to learn. You don't get the actualized path to nirvana, to enlightenment, to Buddhahood. So then you see, because you see, you don't think. First is the job. First is the job, to get money, and Dharma is the second or third. Even though you do accept Dharma, but it's maybe fourth, not even second, third, fourth. Sort of maybe last one. When you have time, only when you have time. Only it's okay for you. Then you do Dharma. If you know liberty, then you do Dharma. Only it's okay with you. Others don't bother you. Enemies and so forth don't bother you. Kind of, for some people like that. For some people, of course, because of the problem, then from the heart, deep down from the heart, then you have no other solution, no other way to explain. Is it happens or the liberation or freedom? So practice Dharma. You allow yourself to practice Dharma. You allow yourself, you give freedom to yourself to practice Dharma. So that Dharma is left out to only fourth or fifth, I don't know what. So kind of that, so then you see, you do only one. That's not the first thing. That's the only solution for the life. Problems bring peace and all that. It's the only solution, but but what is the most important is done, fourth and fifth in the life. And the first is you get a job and money and things like that. About works of this life, just sort of that. You see. So then, of course, the problem. Problems like rainfalls of problems, and hundreds of problems and thousands of problems at even the same time, and one after another, never finish problems. So I was saying how then you think about also that we have to go through, until you're not free from samsara. You see, and until we actualize the path. Wisdom directly perceiving emptiness, at least, renunciation. Even there's no bodhicitta, so that we can see the cause of suffering, the delusion and karma. So the seed of delusion karma you can seize by having the wisdom directly perceiving emptiness. So then for that, of course, you need to start teachings on emptiness, truth, and mathematical teachings, and hear from, listen from qualified teacher, and then reflect and meditate. And I didn't tell details like that. So then become to practice Dharma the most important thing. So otherwise you go never finish problem. Your problem, your family problem, that never finish. Then those are the result of past negative karma collected numberless eons ago, or even this past this life, in the early life, created many causes of problems. Unable to practice Dharma means taking care of the mind. If you're able to take care of mind, you can able to take care of your body from disease and so forth. You're able to take care of your body if you're able to take care of your mind. That's the best way. That's the best way. Unable to take care of your mind, and then 100,000 times you take care of the body, you juggle a whole city, you juggle whole Melbourne or Bendigo 2-3 times a day. 2-3 times a day, juggle, so from early morning, get up earlier and then do prostration to the to the meditative field, to Guru Buddhadharma Sangha, 35 Buddhas, so like that, during practice. So that, get up early morning and jiggle. Of course, I don't mean all the jiggles are not Dharma. I'm not saying that. I'm sure for some people, bodhisattvas, or even non-bodhisattva, or who has renunciation of this life, or renunciation of next life, the future samsara. Of course, for them, even the juggle, or I don't know how to say, juggle or jiggle, becomes Dharma, for them, become Dharma. So no question about Bodhisattva. So due to bodhicitta, cherishing sentient being, no question. So anyway, so I was saying this she could often report, problems of family and brothers. So I do this prayer, do that prayer, do this and do this mantra, read the Golden Eye Sutra, or one of the answer for that. And anyway, so I was telling this general idea, so she understand. But not only that, there are many other students, other people, and others like that. So, because this is my brother, this is my this, this is my this. You see, the attachment. or leave aside the self-chasing thought, just attachment, So, but you see, there are numberless sentiments with the same family. They all happen in your brother numberless times. They all happen in your sister numberless times. And it's the same thing, whole family. Numberless sentiments of the six realms. They all happen in your family. Including numberless helpings, all happen in your family. You see, thinking from beginningless rebirth, yes, everyone has been your mother. Everyone has been kind to you from beginningless rebirth, like this present life mother and. Kind of like that, generally speaking. So if you think this way, then mother from beginningless rebirth and kind to you from beginningless rebirth, that is unbelievable. So all sentient beings in your heart. As it comes in your heart, like your disliked mother, father, brother, sister. You see, that's also with the attachment. You see, but even the problem, you never think of their past life problems from beginning to the. You never think of that. Don't think of that. And also future endless problem of samsara. If you don't read Dharma, if you don't practice Dharma, you don't think that. Don't read Dharma, don't practice Dharma, then it's endless suffering of samsara again. You have to go through your brother, your family. You don't think that. So on this, only the few years, few months, few weeks, this problem. My brother, my sister, my this, my that, very strong, with very strong attachment. You think this. I mean, jealous, suffering, samsara. As I mentioned yesterday, suffering, pain, suffering of the death, suffering of rebirth, old age, so forth. Suffering, pain, then then after all that, as I explained, the Sutra, Lambda teachings, beside the Lord and the human being suffering, and about 8 or about 6, and the Sura, Asura being suffering, so that. Then suffering of pain, then after that, then samsara pleasures. Sorry. Then the pleasure of the eating, drinking, enjoying the house, as we're doing now, and in this universal compassion, stupa, is the name? Universal compassion, stupa, inside. At the moment we're here, to the karma. It is amazing. It is not a dream. It is not a dream in our life. So not eyes closed, not dream eyes closed, and settle your breath. I mean, quite, some quite, most quite, and some not quite. Some big noises. When I was very small in Solukumpu, when my teacher wasn't with me, my teacher was my uncle, Aku, Gelong, that time, aspect Gelong. So when he was not with me, then there was summertime, so stay outside, not in the room, outside. So there was then 2 hands go like this. Then there's some flies killed, some very tiny. The hand is small, so unfortunately not big hand. Then more get crushed, So there's some. Then I give their body in the corner of the room, outside. What do you call the other side is a firewood parlor. So we have a tiny place there where my teacher and myself. So I'm supposed to read all day long Dharma texts. So when my teacher was not there, I do like this. Then some get killed, and then I give the body to the spider. In the corner of the room, there's some spider webs. So they put their website in the corner. Before he even started website, spiders, they started already website. Long time ago. So I threw on them, then I watch how they eat. How they usually upside down. They eat from bottom. And probably the head is hard to eat for them. So they leave the it's like a motorcycle. So, people wear something on the head, thick one. It's like that. So they leave the head. Not the whole head, but just the skull, I think. So this I watch how they eat. So that sometimes I threw on their website. Then I threw other, not animal, other things. I think they know that it's not animal. I think. So in the West, especially all kinds of pleasure what they're looking for. All kinds. Then can go there. So I have a lot of negative karma to purify. Including those childhood time what I did. So much to practice Dharma to purify. Or experience the result, for thousands, millions of lifetimes. From those karma. Just even from those karma. So the So those pleasure which you can't continue because Dharma happiness you can continue and you can develop. You see, you can achieve total cessation of the cause of samsara, the delusion and the karma. You can cease, totally cease, including the imprinted seed. You can cease totally, and impossible to continue to grow, impossible. So there is no cause of suffering. So there is no suffering. There is no true suffering. There is no true cause of suffering from the Four Noble Truths. So because of the true cessation of suffering, you have achieved through the true path, wisdom directly perceiving emptiness, based on the renunciation of samsara. So then also you can achieve peerless happiness, ultimate happiness, the peerless happiness, Buddhahood, total, that's Sanskrit, but total cessation of obscurations and completion of realizations you can achieve. But that complete Dharma happiness, you see. But the samsara pleasure you can't. You can't continue. You see, you can't continue and you can't develop like Dharma happiness. So you see, not only we try this life, in this life, not only that, but from beginningless rebirth, from beginning, we tried past lives. We tried from beginningless rebirth. We tried numberless times. We tried. Did not continue. Tried again. So the dissatisfaction continued from beginningless rebirth up to now. One of the great suffering, dissatisfaction, continued from beginningless rebirth up to now. So that's the biggest suffering. So slowly it will continue. If you don't practice Dharma, if you don't learn Dharma, don't reflect, meditate, who don't do that this life, there's all the opportunity, have found extremely rare the human body, and especially perfect human body received endowed or received 8 freedoms and 10 richness. Which is extremely rare, so rare. So much of our past lives, we were born where you can't hear human voice. Even human voice you can't hear. So much of our life has been like this, where you can't hear even human voice at all. So like that in the past. And then I met Buddhadharma, omniscient one, kind towards all, towards every single sentient being. Towards every single sentient being. Whether they complain Buddha, whether they worship Buddha, whether they complain Buddha, however, from Buddha's side, same compassion to every single sentient being. There's no one sentient being left out. There is no one insect, no matter how tiny it is, not one left out that Buddha's compassion doesn't embrace. Buddha's compassion does not embrace. There is no one tiny insect left, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is. So like that, you see, and omniscient one, kind, compassionate towards us, all the sentient beings, not only yourself. And so Buddha's teaching have met the teaching, liberating to not be reborn realms, liberating from samsara, liberating from raw nirvana, enlightening. Oh, Buddha's teaching we have met. So, Kasura is extremely rare, again, which is extremely rare. Met then His Holiness Dalai Lama to Kasura, the virtual friend, perfect virtual friend, who proved from Buddha's quotations, teachings, quotations, and that is jealousy. From the quotations, proved that Buddha said, like that. So extremely rare happened. So these few years, few months, few weeks, so our human life is unbelievable precious, so precious. So they all saying, that gives incredible opportunity to learn Dharma, to practice, to actualize paths, to nirvana, to enlightenment. Wow. So this. So we have to recognize. We have to remember all the time. I have to remember all the time. To be mindfulness, not become, how to say, African English. Not become kind of like one doesn't think it's you don't value for that. You don't think how precious it is. You don't think the careless and sort of you don't recognize how precious it is, how fortunate you are. You don't realize. And what's the English word? I've forgotten. Huh? What? Take. That's right. Take it granted. So they say, take granted, then we waste so much of our human life, precious human life. Years, our life we waste. Not only days, not only hours and days, weeks, months, and years we waste. Wasted already a lot. Wasted already so much. Kind of, if you think it, if you think seriously, it can cause heart attack. Kind of like that. What am I saying? So the conclusion is you see, as I told her, so the solution is to practice. It's always like this. You see, samsara, natural samsara, and you see, you experience past karma, and more hours, then you saw then again endless. You don't practice Dharma, you know. So, yeah. So the solution is to practice Dharma. So that. Someone sent many. Every time she asked, I sent prayers, mantras, for success, for this and for that, and what text to be read, and all that. But you see, solution is you have to understand the practice Dharma. That's the only solution. There's no way to be free from samsara. Other than practicing Dharma, there's no other way. There's no Western scientific way to run away from samsara. No Western scientific way or some other way to run out, to escape from samsara. There's no such thing. They haven't discovered what Western scientists, who has the highest knowledge, haven't discovered yet samsara. To escape from samsara, first you have to explain. You have to know what samsara is. So they haven't discovered yet. So they haven't discovered yet samsara. Then there's no way how to be free from samsara to explain. There's no way. So that's the only omniscient kind of compassion that Guru Sakyamuni Buddha's teaching that we have met. Yeah, okay. You see, what do you think, 1 billion times, 100,000 billion times, all comes, if you have wisdom, or if you have met Dharma, all comes to conclusion to practice Dharma. Nothing else. Even to recite Om Mani Padme Hum, that's the essence of Dharma. That's everything. It's inside. 6 syllables, it's everything. That helps. That helps quickly to be free from samsara.